Keanu Reeves was blocked by a motorbike gang. Keanu Reeves was almost slapped. But when the truth was revealed, the night was calm as Keanu Reeves cruised down a quiet Los Angeles back road on his Norton Commando. He had just wrapped up a long day of filming and needed the ride to clear his mind. The city lights twinkled in the distance, but out here, the streets were nearly empty, except for the distant sound of roaring engines behind him. He glanced in his mirror. 5 motorcycles. They were gaining on him fast. Keanu didn't panic, but he knew this wasn't just a friendly riding group. Within seconds, the gang surrounded him, blocking his way at the next intersection. Their bikes idled in a tight formation, trapping him in. One of the riders, a burly man with a jagged scar on his cheek, stepped off his bike and walked toward Keanu, cracking his knuckles. His leather jacket bore the name Iron Vultures MC, a notorious biker gang known for controlling certain areas of the city. "Where you headin', fancy boy?" the man growled. Keanu calmly pulled off his helmet, his face illuminated by the dim streetlights. "Just passing through." Another biker, a tall guy with a mohawk, laughed. "Passing through our turf? That's funny." The scarred man reached out, as if about to slap Keanu across the face, but before his hand could land, "Stop!" A younger biker, barely in his 20s, rushed forward and shoved Scarface's hand away. His eyes were wide with shock. "You idiots, do you even know who this is?" Scarface frowned. "What are you talking about, rookie?" The younger biker pointed at Keanu, his voice nearly shaking. "That's Keanu Reeves." Silence. The gang stared at Keanu, who stood there, expression calm. Mohawk squinted. "No way." Another biker pulled off his helmet. "Holy, it is him." Scarface, now looking a little uncomfortable, scratched his head. "Wait, John Wick, Keanu Reeves?" Keanu smirked. "That's what they tell me." The entire gang suddenly erupted into nervous laughter, their tough guy act crumbling in an instant. "Dude, we almost jumped John Wick," one of them gasped. "That would have been the last mistake of our lives," another muttered, shaking his head. Scarface cleared his throat and took a step back. Listen, man, no hard feelings, yeah?" Keanu chuckled. "No hard feelings." Then, in a twist no one expected, Mohawk grinned and said, "You ride pretty smooth for a Hollywood guy. Ever run with a real biker crew?" Keanu thought about it for a moment. "Not with an MC." Scarface smirked. "Well, you're welcome to ride with us. No strings, just the road." Keanu looked at the open highway ahead, then back at the gang. He slid his helmet back on. "Let's ride." And just like that, what started as a standoff turned into an unforgettable night, with Keanu Reeves leading a gang that almost made the biggest mistake of their lives. The night air was cool as Keanu and the Iron Vultures rumbled down the highway, their engines growling in unison. What had started as an almost dangerous misunderstanding had turned into something unexpected, a midnight ride with one of the most notorious biker gangs in Los Angeles. Keanu rode near the front, just behind Scarface and Mohawk. They weren't racing, just riding, the city lights flickering in the distance. The freedom of the road was something Keanu always loved, but tonight, it felt different. It felt raw. After about 30 minutes, Scarface signaled for a stop. The gang pulled into an old gas station on the outskirts of the city, the neon sign barely flickering above them. "All right, Reeves," Scarface said as he climbed off his bike. "You can ride, I'll give you that." Keanu smirked, pulling off his helmet. "Glad I passed the test." Mohawk laughed. "Most guys would have freaked out back there when we blocked him in." Keanu shrugged. "I've been in worse situations." The younger biker, the one who had recognized him, still couldn't contain his excitement. "Man, this is insane. I was literally watching John Wick last night, and now you're here riding with us." Keanu smiled. "You got a name?" "Yeah, it's Ricky." Scarface leaned against his bike and crossed his arms. "So tell me, Reeves, what's a guy like you doing, riding alone through our turf? Ain't exactly the safest road for someone like you." Keanu took a sip of the bottled water he had grabbed from the gas station. "Riding clears my head. I wasn't looking for trouble." Mohawk grinned. "Well, you found some anyway." The gang chuckled, but there was no tension anymore. As they stood around chatting about bikes and the best riding spots, Keanu learned more about the Iron Vultures. They weren't just some reckless gang, they had their own code. Sure, they had a rough reputation, but they also looked out for each other. "You ever do charity rides?" Keanu asked. Scarface raised an eyebrow. "Why, you want to donate?" Keanu shook his head. I want a ride. The gang went silent for a moment. Then, Mohawk let out a low whistle. Damn, Q Reeves riding with us on a charity run, that'd shake things up. Ricky practically bounced. Dude, that would change everything. People see us as just a bunch of criminals. But if Keanu Reeves, John Wick himself, rides with us, people will see we're not just some gang. Scarface studied Keanu for a long moment, then nodded. All right, Hollywood, we got a charity ride next weekend. We help out a couple of shelters. You show up, and you ride like you did tonight? You're in. Keanu smiled. I'll be there. As the engines roared to life once more, Keanu knew this wasn't just another night ride. This was something bigger. And just like that, Keanu Reeves had found himself rolling with the Iron Vultures, not as a target, but as one of their own.